Hello everyone, I'm very quietly sorry for actually not exactly shooting the next episode on Monday. I was exactly quietly sick, but I'm actually getting very quietly better now. I'm actually recovering and exactly recovering very quietly good. I'll be exactly skipping the next day, known as Wednesday, in order to shoot because I'll be seeing the doctor. But on Thursday and Friday, I promise you, you'll get the other two episodes that I'm exactly filming. And by next week, I'll be filming the whole week as I exactly can reassure you. But today we had to talk about the history over the Galactic, a secret society of supervillains led by Lord Victor Darkness, led by Lord Victor Darkest, who is a member of the Darkest family. Remember the Darkest family that I previously told you about the Four Nation Hunter family? Yes, he's a member of the Darkest family. In the 20th century, Lord Victor began planning and orchestrating and staging and began planning and orchestrating and creating strategies in these strategic ways in order to place his in order to make his ambition and his goals come to reality for universal dominance and conquering all worlds and all planets across the known universe and across the sacred world and across humanity by any means necessary. Despite this, Lord Victor was very ambitious and very determined to exactly rule over the known universe and the rest of the sacred worlds across sacred space and across sacred universe and across sacred existence by any means necessary. Within the 20th century, Lord Victor Lord Victor Darkness began exactly leading a group of his mercenaries, of his people, and the surviving member of the Darkest family, who are the remaining of the Four Nation Hunter family, who are exactly led by Victor Darkness, in order to exactly build a grand village and a sanctuary for his people, which he exactly did. He built a huge ancient temple and a huge sanctuary for the remaining survivors of the Darkest family to exactly remain there in order to serve him as a living savior of his people. Lord Victor Darkness was exactly praised for his heroic ambition for saving almost half of the Darkest family before they were all extinct and before they were all destroyed. Lord Victor Darkness became more ambitious and more determined to exactly rule over all the other worlds and all other civilization. Within that time, Lord Victor Darkest began clashing with the Four Nation Hunter founder known as Fourth, and also Two, who is a founder and leader of the Two Nation Hunters. They began to exactly fighting each other within the sacred forest with their swords and weapons and blades, using their superpowers and their ability. Lord Victor Darkest used his ability of super speed and super strength to overcome Fourth swords and were able to exactly battle. The battle was quite conclusive as both armies suffered enormous amounts of casualties. The Dark Druids and the Dark Witches and the Dark Faithful were quietly present at the battle, able to exactly use their dark magic to eviscerate and destroy the Four Nation Hunters and the Two Nation Hunters, who were quite led by 4 and 2. Lord Victor Darkest was very pleased and very proud of forming an alliances with other dark, powerful magic users in order to aid him in his conquest of ruling the known universe and conquering the sacred world and the rest of sacred existence by any means necessary. Seeing the Four Nation Hunters and the Two Nation Hunters working together, Lord Victor Darkest decided to form his own ancient secret society of supervillains that will be known as the Galactic. Over the following centuries, Lord Victor Darkest began sending invitations to powerful super criminals known as Power Light, Death Hand, Extreme Witch, Commander Mung, who is merged with the extreme brother and became one supernatural being, an invincible foe. Light Boy, Energy Girl, that makes at least six members with their expertise and their abilities to the organization, to the secret society, and to the organization that Lord Richard Darkest has exactly able to extend his invitation to 6 members of his secret society. The members were happily to join forces with Lord Victor Darkness in order to exactly share their goals and their common ambitions of conquering humanity and ruling over the sacred world and the rest of sacred existence by any means necessary. In doing so, Lord Victor Darkness began supplying the secret organization, his secret society, with bases and also the central headquarters for them to exactly maintain their operations, for them to exactly convene and meet and discuss the operations. They were able to convene on the second of June in order to discuss their plans and their operations in taking out the Universal Heroes. Light Girl exactly asked Lord Victor Darkness, is the plan quite in preparations to take care of the Universal Heroes and the rest of the world heroes. Lord Victor Darkness had quietly reassured her that the plan is in place to exactly deal with these heroes and is quietly imminent in order to exactly wipe them out. Following the destruction of the Shadow Empire and the Intergalactic Coalition being formed and forming an alliance with the Universal Heroes and the assassins were unsuccessful in destroying them or taking them out, who exactly mysteriously reported back on the news on the members of the Galactic. But Lightball was not quite pleased with the results that they were able to exactly get from the outcome. Lightball wasn't quite happy or pleased at all with the outcome of the battle, seeing that the Universal Heroes are still intact and still alive, and seeing the Shadow Empire seeing the Shadow Empire wreaking havoc inside a distraught way. And also Power Light quietly agreed with Lightboy that their plans have quietly been held up way too long. It's time that they exactly invoke phase 2. Lord Victor Darkest exactly told the members of the Galactic that they can't exactly plan anything or exactly stage anything right now, but they exactly know that the Universal Heroes are still operating and are operating with the Intergalactic Coalition, and the Lolo Magic is a one in power, that says that they can't exactly do anything about the situation or exactly try to exactly take control of the war. But sooner or rather than later, when the Lolo Magic is down, Lord Victor Darkness and the rest of the Galactic will exactly strike again, as he reassured the members. Energy Girl exactly was quietly pleased and very quietly proud. So was the Exterminate with a very much quiet of the reassurance, as they quietly say. Few months after the Lolo Magic faces his demise, the members of the Galactic reconvene in order to discuss their next operation and their next moves in order to take out the Universal Heroes. The Exterminate exactly asked what will be their plans for their next plans. Lord Victor Darkness said that their next plans is for them to conquer the rest of the Sacred Universe, and all the worlds of the Sacred Worlds by any means necessary. Lord Victor Darkness dispatched an armada of battle cruisers in order to exactly launch a full-scale invasion of all the worlds and all the planets across sacred existence. The Intergalactic Coalition was able to intercept the fleet on another sector of space, and they were able to go war with the rest of the armada. The two sizes were quietly heavily decimated, as in very, very quietly decimated, as in excuse me, as in very quietly decimated from the battlefield, as in there were enormous amounts of casualties from both sides, as both sides were quietly enormous amounts of devastation, lost enormous amounts of casualties on both sides, as battle cruisers were all decimated from the other side. Dark druids and dark witches and dark faithful use a dark magic to decimate the rebels and the rest of the other forces. The light druids and the light faithful came to assist the Intergalactic Coalition in battling the dark druids. Two sides quietly suffered enormous amounts of heavy casualties, as they were not able to exactly to recover from the battle. One dark druid was able to teleport away in order to report the status of the battle to Lord Victor Darkness, who was able to exactly retrieve to the sanctuary. He was able to exactly meet with Lord Victor Darkness on the 3rd of August and exactly able to inform them of the news, saying the Intergalactic Coalition was able to intercept them with more powerful light magic users, and saying that they are quietly able to anticipate them. Lord Victor Darkness said that it's quietly fine. The plan was quietly in place. The whole plan was for them to intercept the rest of the battle cruisers and the rest of the Armada. But this time, there's a new plan quietly set in full preparation in taking over the rest of the sacred world and the rest of sacred existence by any means necessary. Despite this, Lord Victor Darkness became more ambitious and more power hungry than ever. Hearing the news of the demise of the Lord of Magic was very more pleasing for him and also for his members. Power Light began his own operation in conducting sacred experiments with shadow energy and with dark crystals in order to learn the secrets of shadow energy and its power, and in order to gain the power of immortality, an immense power of immortality and immortal state, for him to remain powerful and more deadly and more greater and more invincible than anything. Magic Girl was able to detect Power Light's energy and magical energy and magical energy able to detect it. Magic Man decided to assist Magic Girl in her mission in order to track down Power Light and also to destroy his power source. They were able to exactly fight Power Light and by destroying his dark ritual and fighting with the dark druids and the dark witches who were able to exactly aid him. They were able to exactly eviscerate some of the dark druids and some of the dark witches and some of the dark faithful, but Power Light was able to escape. Magical decided to use her newfound ability of magic in order to destroy the dark crystal and also to destroy the chemical of shadow energy and its power source before it could exactly infuse the rest of the world and the rest of the planet, which she successfully did. She destroyed the rest of the sacred laboratory and the ruins of the sacred laboratory of the century that Paula was conducting his own sacred experience, and was able to exactly report back to the Universal Heroes, saying that the Galactic has been experimenting with shadow energy, trying to unlock its secrets, its powers, its mysteries, and all of that. Universal Man saying that the Galactic is quietly back in its game, trying to exactly control the known universe and the rest of the sacred world and the rest of the sacred universe by any means necessary. The sacred team will be quietly put into action in order to stop this new secret society of supervillains known as the Galactic. Magical quietly agreed with Universal Man that she has her own mission to exactly tracking down Nebula Bringer and Jake Bringer. The both teams quietly agreed. The members of the teams quietly agreed, saying that they all have their own missions in tracking down their own bad guys and their own supervillains in doing so exactly, and in stopping these supervillains before they could create this catastrophic destruction and unleash chaos to humanity and to the known universe and to the rest of sacred existence by any means necessary. Paula was able to attend a video conference with the rest of the members of the Galactic, and was able to say that he was able to exactly make full great progress with a huge breakthrough of unlocking the secrets of shadow energy and its powers and its capacity, which was exactly able to please Lord Victor Darkest by exactly saying that shadow energy could be the key to help them unlocking more power and more abilities. Lord Victor Darkness was able to exactly reconvene with these people at his home planet, saying that the plan in order for them to conquer the rest of the known universe and the rest of the sacred world and the rest of sacred existence is about to come to a reality sooner, as these people were all happy and quietly ready to begin preparing their battleships. But Lord Victor Darkest said that their battleships will not be necessary. You only need some of these forces in order to use their abilities and their superpowers in order to teleport into the Shadow Empire and steal some of the Shadow Empire's technology and weapons. The people were quietly happy to oblige, and they successfully agreed. Much of the Shadow Empire destructive technologies and weapons were quietly successfully stolen by Lord Victor Darkest's people and followers, which were able to exactly take as much as they could in order to exactly understand the technology, creating cybernetics implants for for his warlocks and for his commanders, for them to exactly work and prepare for war against the Intergalactic Coalition and against the rest of the forces. The Intergalactic Coalition was able to deliver a major victory blow by taking the Shadow Empire aback in liberating thousands of worlds and thousands of planets across the known universe and across sacred existence by any means necessary. The Shadow Empire is scattered in chaos, and all the other Shadow Empire warlords are fighting for soul control and are fighting for soul control and fighting for soul control of power and are fighting for the Shadow Empire's throne. Lord Victor Darkness was able to reconvene with the members of the Galactic in the 3rd of September, telling them that there's news of the new Lord of Magic, who is recruiting many new supervillains in his own new secret society of supervillains, aiding him in his new mission to conquer and annihilate all supernatural creatures and beings and conquering all worlds and all planets across sacred existence by any means necessary. Exterminate says that this is going to be a huge problem for the operations and for the plans in conquering the rest of sacred existence and humanity. Lord Victor Darkness agreed. Lord Victor Darkness decided it's time to dispatch his agents to wreak enormous amounts of chaos and destruction across the magical worlds and across the magical planets throughout sacred universe and throughout the sacred worlds. His forces and agents released enormous amounts of chaos and destruction by stealing all the magical crystals and all the magical powers from the magical world and civilizing. The universal magic heroes were able to intercept them. They were able to exactly battle with these agents and all these forces. Some of the forces were able to successfully escape. The others were quietly successfully taken into custody. They were quietly being interrogated by Newborn, who is a new member of the Universal Heroes, asking them questions about who dispatched them and who exactly gave them the orders to steal magical crystals. But there's been no answers, and there's been no response. They were successfully sentenced straightly into the astral prison, where they'll be exactly be taken care of. Despite this, the Galactic is a secret society of supervillains it's an insurrection of enlightened members known as Power Light, Extreme Witch, Commando Mug, Extreme Brother, Light Boy, Energy Girl, Death Hand, Lord Victor Darkest, who is a founder and leader of the Galactic. These members are powerful supervillains who are dedicated to conquering the known universe and the rest of sacred existence. For many centuries, Lord Victor Darkness has dreamed of expanding his empire and his domain and his rule in conquering the rest of the known universe and the rest of the sacred worlds, in fighting the 4 Nation Hunters, the Universal Heroes, the 2 Nation Hunters, the Intergalactic Coalition, who he views them as a threat in protecting humankind, believing that humanity is a rightful ruling species of the cosmos, and seeing that his people are the right. He's seeing that his species and seeing that his people and his kind are the right kind to lead humankind, through greater heights of great destiny. Excuse me. Through the greater heights of greater destiny, and also reshaping humanity's future, by any means necessary. Despite this, Lord Victor Darkest is very determined and very ambitious, and is a super strategist and a super tactician, forming an alliances with other supervillains such as Power Light, Energy Girl, Light Boy, Commando Mug, Extreme Witch, Death Hand as well, and also Extreme Brother, forming alliances with other supervillains in order for them to utilize their resources for his own goals, in order for him to utilize their resources for his own goals, for them to exactly conquer the rest of the sacred universe and the rest of sacred world, in ruling sacred world with an iron fist, He believes he's destined to rule the rest of sacred existence and the rest of the sacred universe and humanity by any means necessary. His arrogance and his bravery and his ruthlessness makes him more dangerous and makes him more powerful. He's very skilled in master tactician, in strategist, and he's very skilled in hand-to-hand combat, in swordsmanship, shurikens, blades, daggers. He's been training his entire life, and for centuries he's been preparing to lead half of the Darkest family and the rest of his people to conquering the known universe and the rest of sacred existence by any means necessary. He believes he's at the top of the food chain. When news of the new Lord of Magic became to be heard throughout the rest of sacred universe, which is forcing everyone and all the other Shadow Empire warlords to exactly fighting for the throne and everything, he became very angry and became very, very quietly felt threatened. He sees him as a threat to his mission, and he'll do whatever it takes to rule the rest of sacred existence and the rest of the sacred world by any means necessary, even if it means by fighting his new enemy, and his old opponent and his old nemesis. He views the Universal Heroes and the United Heroes and the Intergalactic Coalition as a threat to his plan and to his dominance, to his universal dominance, to his universal domination plans in conquering the rest of the known universe and all the worlds throughout the sacred universe by any means necessary. Lord Victor Darkest is very powerful, very formidable. He's an immortal being and a powerful, formidable foe. According to sacred history, he is one of the very, very, very feared hunter and the very, very deadly and super villains ever known throughout sacred history. He is known and he's highly the third threat ever known and ever feared. The Universal Heroes and the Four Nation Hunters know very well that Lord Victor Darkest is not meant to be underestimated. He and his secret society of supervillains, known as the Galactic, are not meant to be underestimated. He formed the Galactic many, many centuries ago in conquering worlds and planets. He clashed with the Shadow Empire warlords over some time in order to conquering all the worlds. He fought with them. He took them down with the rest of his insurgents, and the rest of his people. They conquered 5 worlds and 6 planets in less than a century, putting them as their own territory for them to. He uses those planets and those worlds as his home bases, to maintain his home bases and also his central headquarters for them to exactly meet and convene with the members of the Galactic to discuss the operations and their plans in taking over the rest of the sacred world and the rest of the sacred universe by any means necessary. Excuse me. Despite this, Lord Victor Darkest is very determined and is a very powerful super villain and a founder and leader of the Galactic. Well, I all hope you enjoyed this video, and I all hope you have a wonderful day and a very, very blessed day. It's very cold, so stay safe and stay warm, and see you on Thursday. Yes, see you on Thursday and Friday and next week Monday. Full on. That I give it to you, and I'm quietly reassuring you. Today's episode was about the history of the Galactic and Lord Victor Darkest. But I all hope you enjoy it. Bye.